you would lead them as you see them. That will never change. So if your group isn't thriving, ask yourself, is it their performance or your perception? How do you see the people around you? How do you see them? How do you interact with them? Do you speak life over them? Do you pour life into them? Because if you don't, you may have amazing people that will leave you and go to an environment where they're getting the oxygen they seek. If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. I'm excited about this video. I am excited about this conversation. I'm excited. All right. You see value out of this? Like, comment, share, rewatch, take in. If you're a leader, you're going to get so much out of this. If you're leading people, oh my God, you are going to get so much out of this. Make sure you share this information, because we know that information shared can make a difference to somebody, but it can go way beyond the person you shared it with. All right, so let's get into it. Leadership. So when I was in school, I had a teacher, and I was not doing well in math class. And they said something to me. They said to me, well, not everyone's cracked up to be great at math. That's true. But when you say that to someone who's like 12 years old, it sticks. I'd always been great up until that point with math. But from that point, I began to struggle. I just began to, it just wasn't clicking. And I couldn't understand what was going on. People around me couldn't understand what was going on. What I didn't understand at the time was those words. Those words. Words have power, no matter what anyone says. Sticks and stones, we got it, but words do matter, especially with a young mind. But it doesn't matter if your mind is young, just in general. Later on, I'm progressing through school. I have another math teacher, and she says to me, well, I know you can do the work. Let's just do it together. And I sat down with her. I'd go to her after class, and the way she talked to me was totally different. She said to me in one of our sessions, oh, son, you're going to be great at this. Oh my God, look at your progress. Oh, this is fantastic. You're going to be a great teacher. And I'm thinking, great teacher. In my mind, I'm still hearing echoes of the conversation from the other teacher who said, not everyone's cracked up to be good at math. I ended up scoring really well with her. I did way, way better. I jumped up from like a C- to an A- in her class, which was massive for me because I'm further along. The work is getting harder, but I have a different leader. So look at the teacher and flip the word teacher with the word leader. All right. Let me explain what the difference was. It was how they saw me. That's it. It wasn't the information that was in front. It was what they saw in me that made all the difference. So I want to give you this principle right now, and I want you to embrace it. You're leading people. This is a very important principle. Probably one of the most important principles of maximizing the best out of yourself and helping people grow to their best selves, which is you lead them how you see them. You lead them how you see them. You see, the first teacher saw me as not being really great. So his relating to me was not great math student. And so he would talk to me like, are you getting this, James? He would talk to me in that way. And some of you in positions, you know what I'm talking about, where you have someone in a leadership role, a coach, whatever that is, and you know that there's a conflict between how you see yourself and how they see you, and they can begin to chip away a little bit at your ability to perform at a high level. Sometimes you're just not motivated to perform at a high level for them, with them, because you know they don't see you great. So you don't act great. You don't go above and beyond. Then at the other end of the spectrum, there's somebody else who sees absolutely nothing but the highest version of you. They see you winning, thriving, assuming great roles of leadership. They see you outside of your comfort zones, right? And they relate to you how they see you. You see, if you see people great, they tend to get greater. If you see people small, they tend to shrink, at least away from you. I've seen people that make so much money leave the organizations they make so much money with because of how they were being seen. Pride is a powerful thing. The way we see ourselves, our self-esteem is a very, very powerful thing. And when you're under an umbrella of leadership that sees you small, even if you're being paid well, even if you have an amazing title, even if you have people around you that are saying, what are you thinking? You should be so happy. You won't be happy because the environment that you're in, you're not seen big. You see, when my kids were born, this was really a strange thing for me. They said, okay, they explained a pacifier. And I remember thinking to myself, why would I want a pacifier? For 9 months, they haven't said a word. So I never gave my kids pacifier. For 9 months, they never said a word. They were in the thing. All right, they were in the thing. So they're in the womb. They're not talking. They get out. First thing we do is give them a pacifier so that they'll be quiet. But they have something to say. And so I've always tried to relate to my kids to just talk to them, not like goo goo gaga and blah, 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 blah. I want to talk to them like they're human. So when they started crying, I talked to them like they're human. I talked like they were grown up. I talk to them now. My 6-year-old, I talk to her now. Like, she fully embraces everything that I say. But for her entire life, we've had full conversations because I see her one day grown. I don't see her forever as a child. And the only way that she's going to grow to adult language is if I have adult language with her now. It's not going to happen accidentally. So I don't say things. And when she was a baby, I didn't say, do you see daddy? Well, leaders do this all the time. Leaders do this all the time unknowingly. We categorize people. We say, okay, she's not really that motivated. She's kind of lazy. Or, man, he's my guy. He's the one. I like him. And we begin to relate. And look, it's human nature. It's human nature to put people in categories. You're not going to fall in love with everybody. That's a fact. However, when you're leading people, it is a great mistake. It is a great, great mistake to trap people. You see, you don't have to see everyone at the same level. But what you do have to get great at is seeing them at another level. They don't have to be at the same level. But you as a leader, your role is to take people to another level. Maybe they're a B student, a C student, a D student. But under your leadership, that D student getting to a C, that's unbelievable. That C student getting to a B, that's unbelievable. I will not forget when I sat in that teacher's class, and I was so used to seeing C's and C's and C's and C's and C's. The moment I saw a B, oh my God, it was like the most incredible. It was the most incredible feeling to see a B. Love that B. And I wanted more. I wanted to do better because that was an insight to me that I could do better. I'd already done great before, but I let that conversation dismantle my potential. And that other teacher, thank God she came along and planted new programming in my software. What is the programming you're giving your people right now? Are you leading them with, I see them at their greatest next level? Or are you leading them like, they'll never get it? They're not, and usually that comes from ego. Usually that comes from you think you're smarter than them. There was an old episode of a show called Batman, the animated series. And for those of you, 90s kid, this was the show. And I'll never forget this episode where this guy was talking to the guy who eventually became the Riddler, and he said, "If you're so smart, why aren't you rich?" I'll never forget that. If you're so smart, why aren't you rich? And it was one of the most humbling. Here's this guy who had all this ego. He was like, I'm so smart, I'm so smart. So, and he had this other guy who wasn't so smart, but he was very successful. And the thing that stuck out from the episode, that was such a powerful question. Such a powerful question. So let me ask you a question. If you're a great leader, how many are following you? If you're a great leader, how many are following you? Here's the key word, voluntarily. There's the word. You see, because if I'm following you because you have a paycheck and you can fire me, that's not quite the same thing. I'm afraid to lose my job, so I'm going to do what you say. Doing what you say is not the same as someone being led by you voluntarily. Someone being led by you voluntarily is saying, I trust that you are orchestrating a situation for me to thrive. That's what it's saying. If people don't feel that from you, they'll eventually go somewhere else. They will. They may not go there today, but they'll eventually get there. Or they'll be physically there, but they'll be checked out mentally because you don't see them great. They know you don't see them great. So they're going to give you what you see. They're going to give what you see. My first, gentleman, Coach Jack, my shot put discus coach when I was in high school. Man, when I say that I think about that man so much, I think about that man so much because the things that I learned in leadership from Coach Service, it's just, he was a leader. He was a leader. He saw me so much better than I could have seen myself. I remember he had this old station wagon and he'd pull up with all this equipment and he would, practice with me and he called me Adlam. He said, Adlam, you're going to be great, Adlam. He's like, keep throwing, son, keep throwing. I want you to visualize yourself being great. He's the first person that ever used the word visualization with me. First person ever. He said, I don't even want you to lift weights this summer. I just want you to just see yourself getting stronger. I want you to see the discus sailing out your hand. I want you to see the shot put flying from your shoulder, Adlam. Do it, just trust me. I came back and I broke every record and I didn't touch a weight. I just kept my promise to him and I visualized every day. When I broke the school record for discus, I could, if you'd have told me the day that I started that I was going to break a record, I would have looked at you crazy. But he saw something. Why? He saw something. And let me tell you what happened when he saw something. He made me want to get up and get out there. I was early to every practice. I was late. I came early to every practice, and I was the last one to leave every practice. Why? I wanted to be in his orbit. He made me feel better about myself. He made me feel great. He made me feel like I was important. He made me feel like I could believe in myself. And everyone wants that. Everyone wants to be around a leader that sees them better. And if you're not seeing your people better, shame on you. You're not a real leader. You just manage people. You would lead them as you see them. That will never change. So if your group isn't thriving, ask yourself, is it their performance or your perception? How do you see the people around you? How do you see them? How do you interact with them? Do you speak life over them? Do you pour life into them? Because if you don't, you may have amazing people that will leave you and go to an environment where they're getting the oxygen they seek. Look, a paycheck is only going to do so much. If you want to pay me enough so I don't quit, I'll give you enough so you don't fire me. And that's our relationship. You give me just enough, I give you just enough. That's our relationship. By the time the day is over, I'm not thinking about you or I'm not talking well about you. I'm just trying to get home and get away from you. And if you don't think that's the truth, you're lying to yourself. But man, if you can help me just get to the next level, man, I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to fight for us. I'm going to fight for this mission that we're on. I am, because people want to be better. And we all want to be around people that help us get to that next level. It doesn't have to be the highest level in the organization. It has to be, you help me get to my next level. Because if you can help me get to if you can see me at my next level, I will be able to begin to see myself at the level beyond that. You will lead them how you see them. So make sure that when you're looking at the people that you're working with, you're seeing the greatest version of who they can be, and you're guiding them accordingly. I really hope you really listen to this. This could be the difference between an incredible business, incredible team, an incredible employer-employee relationship, or you just being surrounded by a bunch of folks who do what you say because they don't want to get fired or they don't want to get cut. See me better, make me better, and I'll get better.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. See, the definition of sight is the faculty or power of seeing.